There's 100 reasons. But if for no other reason, that it's very, very important in a presidential election to know who you're voting for and why, as who they might nominate as a sitting justice on the Supreme Court. That is a very important reason to get involved. But because we have generation, in my opinion, of people who have self-disenfranchised, we have people who don't see the relevance of that. It doesn't matter. And they don't vote. And I've observed, and maybe you can argue with me, and that's fine, that I've observed that these elections that we have tend to be decided by the people who don't vote. There's this great undecided out there. And some of them crave attention. That gave us Joe the plumber. You know? But there is this great undecided. Even in the Obama-McCain presidential election, there were people who were undecided. How can you be undecided by these two different men? Completely different in their viewpoints and what they were going to do. That's like, you know, the undecided, you ask them, you know, would you like to drink warm vomit or eat ice cream? And the great undecided ask, well, what flavor is the ice cream? That's not acceptable to me. I think we need to understand this from a very young age, and we need to return to teaching civics education in our public and private schools from a very young age all the way through adulthood and in through college, so that hopefully people will come to understand and appreciate it for what it is. This is who we are. This is how we define ourselves as Americans through this process. Okay? With the hope that if we start teaching it at a very young age, if we return to teaching our children civics education, what it means to have due process, what it means to have a constitution, we may wind up with adults who are well equipped to make meaningful contributions to the public and civil discourse, as opposed to the people I see who spout rhetoric from third parties. And they start spewing this stuff that you know they heard on the radio or someplace else that is not an original opinion of theirs, but because they don't have an original opinion and are forced to participate because that's what we seem to expect, they just start spewing this stuff, regurgitating stuff that might have meaning but maybe not. What do you think of that? What do you think of this? Is this important? We're only talking now about the Supreme Court. We could come back and talk about all of the Constitution. I know Professor Swambert teaches this at University of North Florida, and there's some of you folks that really do understand this. But do you think you understand it as well as you'd like? Do you agree with the premise that we need to return to teaching this more effectively in schools? So if I started a nonprofit organization and I called it Civication, just hypothetically, right? And I decided to take this civication thing and go out and about around the country and try to get people to understand the need for this and bring what we call a nice curriculum. We do have a curriculum from something known as the Center for Civics Education. This book, anybody see this? Ever see this book? There you go. This is for the folks at home. How you doing? All right. All right. The Center for Civics Education has 3 of these books: elementary, middle school, and high school. I'm holding the high school book. This is paid for by taxpayer dollars. We have secured the ability to go out and suggest this is a good curriculum. It's not the only curriculum, but it is an excellent curriculum. They have been doing this since 1964, and they have appropriations from Congress to the tune of about $30 million to put this together and to promote it. In fact, this weekend I'm going to Washington, D.C. to observe the final competitions, the national competition in the Constitution tests that they have. It's a debate. It's absolutely incredible. I was a judge on the Florida debate where all the schools from Florida get together and they debate issues on the Constitution. And we were fortunate, I was one of the judges and got to see the winner. The winner was absolutely incredible. They were really good. A school called the Lord's Academy of Miami, an all-girls private Catholic school. But these girls were so, I would put them up against any constitutional attorney. They were so well educated on this, but they did their work. They spent 4 or 5 hours every day. As much as a football team might practice, they practiced. There were a lot of people who were very good, and then they came along and they blew everybody out of the water. Questions, comments, thoughts? We have a little time. We can chit-chat. You agree? You disagree? You like what's going on in the Supreme Court? Before, we're getting ready to wind this up. So there's a flyer that looks like this on the back table. I would encourage you, if you're interested, to pick one up. It gives a little brief description about what I'm trying to do, what we're trying to do with Civication. There's a business card back there and a way to contact me. And you are a terrific audience, and I tip my glass to you. Salute. And until we meet again.